High5.ID now supports event tracking. So let's go into that. Currently there are no events at this school, but we'll add one. Let's say we're going to do graduation 2021. So we need to choose a time for the event. Let's have it start at 5 and go until 8 o'clock. The venue is copied from the school and the address is as well. The description is HTML text. All right, so anything you want can be done to the text. Like that. Okay, you can choose between whether the access to the event is open door or ticketed. We're going to say it's ticketed, there's 100 people available. You don't need a photo, although we do support that. That's one of the nice things about High5.ID. If you've got some high value event and you need to ensure that the people holding the tickets are who they say they are, then yeah, our DIY photo mechanism works and you can design anything you like for the ticket. For now, I'm not going to bother with these things. It's good enough. The visibility is very interesting. You can set up a public event, which gives you a URL, and perhaps I'll come back to that. But for now, we're doing an invitation-only event, which is interesting because only certain people should be allowed to get in, and other mechanisms than a public web page, for example, are private pages at the school where kids and teachers and visitors can log in and see their private pages. That's how they're going to find this event, because it's not open to the public the way a theater performance would be. So we've already set up the tickets. We can decide whether kids are allowed to enter and come back in or not. That's a choice. What we're interested in now is who can come to the event. And we've said it was invitation only, so we now choose who can come. So we're going to say specific people can, anybody who's in grade 12. So these are the people who are in grade 12, and we'll select all of them. And it's a little toy database, but these are grade 12 people. You can send an invite to those people right now if you want. As a graduation, I'm going to let them bring mom and dad if they want. And like a wedding, when you RSVP, it means you're coming. You can also say, I know I won't be able to come, so let somebody else have my ticket. So that's why we would offer a decline option. The last thing I want to set up is the locations. So let's say there's just one main entrance, but if you were doing a stadium and you had a north and a south entrance, that's where you would set that up. And who is going to be doing the scanning? So let me show you how that works. I'll make myself staff for this event, which means that in my personal page, we'll see the tools to scan kids as they come and go. All right, so the event now exists. Let's get a couple of students buying tickets for it, or claiming tickets, I guess. Under data, we'll look at these two guys here and say on their personal pages, of course they would normally go in via their phones, but we can do it here as well. I'll just log in as these guys. Under events, we see the graduation that we just set up. I guess I forgot to do a logo, so let's just set that up and show you, of course, that everything is editable all the time. So that's under basics. We'll just choose a graphic for the graduation. There we go. So now if you go looking at the events, the graduation has that image for it, and the date that I chose and such is ready to go. So let's say that this guy is willing to come, so he'll buy a ticket or claim a ticket, general admission, and he's got two guests, mom and dad, so he's now confirmed that he's coming. If he clicks this, it'll be added to his Outlook calendar. If remember, this is on his phone. If he says view my tickets, it will show him his ticket on his phone. If he's not sure he's going to be online, he can say download the ticket, and that will pull it down. And it's just a file, which means that he can have access to it even if he's offline. Anyway, so that's the ticket for one guy, and he can always, this is now showing up in his list of tickets. He could change his mind and buy another ticket if he wanted to, but he's always got access to this. Let's do the same for a second guy, second student. We'll go into his actions his personal page. And the reason I'm doing this is to have multiple tickets to scan, which is where we're going in a moment. So we will just give him no guests. He's coming alone. All right, so now we've got two home pages up, one for Lloyd and one for Jeff. So what I'm going to do is just move these into separate windows. Okay, so I can move these around. And what we're going to do is finally, at the event, scan people in. So we'll get to my own personal homepage as staff. So now we can log in as me. And if I look at my events page, I'm not invited to it because I'm not in grade 12, but I was set as staff, which means that I can turn on a scanner. So this is a portable camera. I'm just doing it this way instead of using my cell phone. So now you can see I'm just using my browser. I don't mean to be confusing, but here is my phone, and here is Jeff's phone, and here is Lloyd's phone. And so as the person who is scanning at the event, I'm just going to hold my phone up to Jeff's card. It says general admission allowed guest number is 2. So I see Jeff's there with his mom and dad, and I let them both in. And now Lloyd comes. So I just scanned Lloyd's card, and it says there are no guests, just general admission. If we go back to scanning Jeff, we can choose, is he leaving? Did we miss him leaving and he's now coming back in, or is there some issue? So you can choose whether entry and exit is allowed as a preference for the event. And if it is allowed, then this lets you say the guy came in at that time and left at that time. So this is how scanning is found. It's in the personal pages for somebody who was set up as staff. And if we go looking at the reporting, we would find that these guys have both attended this event. Another thing I'd like to show is e-commerce and public pages. So we're going to create a different event. Let's say the Sound of Music, which is a theater performance at the school. So this one is a paid event, which means we're going to take money for it, and it's not an open door, it's priced. So this is where you could say, for example, if you're in the balcony, it's $10, and if you're on the main floor, it's 25. So like that. Now, if somebody goes to the public-facing website and buys a ticket, we need to add them to the database. So we need to know what sort of an individual to create. Visitor is fine. I'm going to keep with no ticket and no photo required, and that's all good. Come see the classic musical in an all-school performer play. Right, it's a ticketed event. You have to pay to get in, and this one is a public event, which means that if you have this URL, you can come. So let me just save what I just did, and then go to that URL, and there we go. I forgot to put in a logo. Let's handle that. And of course, this will update the public-facing page when you hit the refresh button. So there we go. It explains when and where and what and what's going on. Let's make sure that the configuration of the event is good. We edit it. We've already done the tickets. Invitees, you can invite whoever you like, but it is a public event. So if you invite people, for example, everybody at the, all visitors, all staff, all students, everybody is going to have this show up now in their, if I save my work, and then I'm still logged in here as myself. So if we go looking, we'll find the Sound of Music ticket, which as a teacher I can do, and the event scanner is still there for graduation. So that's inviting everybody to the school and the public. There's no guests. You don't need to decline this. It's an offering to everybody, and if they don't come, they don't come. If I add myself again as a scanner and save my work, then if I go out and come back in, I'll see that I have 2 scanners, one for graduation and one for the Sound of Music. And it doesn't matter if I start on a public page or on a private page. If I click here, I can choose, am I somebody who's already got an account at the school, or am I somebody's parent who's never visited the school before, and do I need to create a guest account? So let's do it that way. Okay, so I've just created an account, and this is the sort of ticket I'd like to buy. I don't know if this will work on our production build. Okay, that's a test card, but the transaction will work, the card will get dinged, and a ticket will show up for that person at the receiving end, as in it will show up looking like this in their personal page, and they will of course receive an email and an SMS to the numbers that were entered, giving them access to it. So you've seen several things that differentiate us from even quite large event management systems. One, RSVP offers to existing individuals, so you can invite only the grade 12 graduating class, and I did it in front of you, it's very straightforward. Two, the idea that you can decline. You've been invited to the event and you said no, and that leads to behavior. How many kids were invited to the dance, how many actually bought a ticket, and how many showed up and then left again after 15 minutes. Being able to track all these things and report on them is a bit outside the wheelhouse for most event management companies. For us, it's just built into the behavior side of what High5 does. Because it's High5, we know about ID and photos and customizable ticket layouts. So all of that is available and just built in. So it's an extremely powerful event tracking system. We're very, very proud of it.